Hi, I'm Tim from Burn 1000, and today we're going to talk about flexibility and mobility for the calves. So first we're going to start with foam rolling and how we're going to foam roll basically from here down to here. So what you want to do is support yourself with your hands, roll, roll, roll right up to the knee as high as we can, and then right back down to the ankle. You want to try and get in as deep as you possibly can. A good way of doing this is pointing and flexing the toes while you're doing it. So if you find a particular tight spot, so I've got one right about here, I'm going to point and flex the toes and just try and get in a little bit deeper. And also try and change the angle of your foot to try and find some different muscles there that you weren't able to find the first time. From there, we've also got now the perineals, which are the ones on the outside. So if you're finding that you're getting a lot of tightness on the outside here, what we're going to do, I'll do it on this foot so we can see a bit closer to the camera, on the outside like that. So it's the exact same motion, using our hands to support us, and we're just gliding up and down the leg like so. Finally, when it comes to foam roll, we've also got the tibialis here. So this can tighten up if you're doing a lot of heel striking when you're running, for instance. So same format, but this time we're going to be on our front, and same format, up and down, up and down. And of course, if you find a tight spot, so I've got one right about there, point and flex the toe and just try and get in a little bit deeper into that muscle. So that's how you foam roll your calves. The harder the foam roller, the better, and the more pressure you apply down, the better. In terms of stretching, so we've got a couple of different stretches, one for the muscle up the top, one for down here, and then on the outside as well. So we'll cover them now. So to stretch the top of our calves, what we want to try and do is get our rear foot as far back as we can whilst keeping the heel on the ground, and then applying pressure forward. So I'm pulling the knee away from my ankle basically, trying to get as far forward as I can. A good way of getting a little bit more stretch into this is by stretching as hard as we can, relax a little bit, take your foot back maybe an inch, and then stretch some more. You'll find that over about a minute you'll be able to get a little bit further each time. In terms of stretching down here, so down around the Achilles tendon, what we want to do is using the front foot, put all the weight forward on the very front. So we're trying to get our knee over our toe as much as we can, once again keeping the heel on the floor. This one we can kind of bounce up and down if we're trying to get a little bit further into our stretch. A dynamic stretch is always better than a passive one, and up and down trying to get that as far forward as possible. Our final one is for the fronts of the legs. So I've rolled up the mat at the back here, and what I'm trying to do is now stretch the muscles here on the front. So once again, these are the ones that get tight if we're doing too much heel striking if you're running, or too much lifting of the toe. So what I'm going to do, this works really well with a pillow in particular, but I'm using a gym mat here today. What I'm going to do is put the heels and the foot on the mat or the pillow, and I'm just going to try and sink my bum down in between my two ankles there. You'll probably feel a bit of a stretch on the front as well, but if you leave it for about 30 seconds onwards, you'll start to feel the stretch more here on the front of the calves. The longer you leave it, and once again, we're trying to bounce, trying to get a little bit deeper as we go, you'll feel more down the front and opening up the front of your ankle as well. That'll also work for the outside here, the perineals, if you need to just turn your foot inwards a little bit, and you'll get a little bit more on the outside. Those three stretches plus your foam rolling, that will improve mobility on the calves.